Hey everybody, it's Intuitive Tiffany Rose with my Starseed family. I want to introduce you to one of my favorite practitioners on our website, practitioner and teacher. This is my personal medical intuitive slash teacher. We teach each other things. And I really feel strongly about people being exposed to medical intuition. The things that we have figured out in my own health and my own journey, a PCP at a medical office would have never figured out. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Misty Scevola, if I say that right.
Scevola.
Scevola, Dr. Misty Scevola. Thank you for correcting me. And will you tell us what you do or how you do what you do?
I'm a practitioner, a health practitioner, and I started out loving alternative medicine. Even when I was a teenager, I just loved herbs, and my grandmother had used some aloe before anybody knew what aloe was on a bad sunburn. So I've always loved alternative medicine. And so I became a homeopath I finished my degree maybe 5, 10 years ago, and I got involved in a study group for applied kinesiology. And I was so astounded by this. Applied kinesiology is not regular kinesiology, but what chiropractors and acupuncturists learn in their journey. And it was so astounding that you could touch a acupuncture point and find out the health of a muscle or an organ, that I just was fascinated and learned as much as I could after that in that topic. And then on the way of learning that, I met so many other healers and practitioners that I learned how to find out what the body wants first. And what the body wants, if you can get the body to talk to you so that you get your mind out of the way and your spirit out of the way and your emotions out of the way, you can find out how to get better from almost anything. So
I
that's
love
where
that.
I started.
I love that. Just with the pure fascination of knowing that you can even check organs and like I wouldn't have imagined that.
I know. And then you have to go what the order is too. The priority, the body has a priority, and priority is different than the root cause. So the
Mm.
root cause might be very deep, but you have to take care of the priority first. And if you don't take care of the priority, then you're just treating compensations, and you go back to the same thing happening over and over and over again. So you don't get rid of it. I also would really emphasize the closer it is to your brain, the more priority it has. So if you have something wrong with a leg or a foot, it's not as high a priority as if you have, most of the time, it's not. It never is all the time, but most of the time it's not as high a priority if there's something going on in your face or your forehead or a headache or a neck ache. All of those are more closely in distance, closer to the brain, and you have to treat them first.
That makes sense. Yeah. Your brain operates everything, right?
Right.
That makes perfect sense. Can you tell our audience what a session with you is like? What all do you check?
Well, when I first have a client, I go through um, I go through a meridian scan. I find out first if the polarity is on, and polarity is a general um, it's a general way to tell if you are positive or negative with yin and yang, and your whole body is questioning and answering the right way. If your polarity is off, you have to find out right away what it is, because they're not testable. A person's not testable. So I check for priority of the polarity, and then I look for switching. So you can have up down switching, right left switching, or back front switching. And switching is your autonomic nervous systems. So if you're fight or flight or your rest and digest, which one is working? And if you're switched, those systems are turned off. And again, you're not testable. Or you're backwards. So what they're your it's the difference between being can't tell the difference between right and left or
Mm,
up and down. Like you'd miss a step if you go down because you think it's there and you can't quite get it. So you go down or up and you miss the step. So that's up down switching. And what it does to your whole body is that you can't tell if an organ's off or on correctly because they're switched.
wow.
And it can change everything. It can be the cause of pain, just like polarity can. And it can, or it can be, it's something that isn't working right, that it's referred from another organ or another muscle system. So after I do that, I do a body scan. I do the meridian scan, then the body scan, testing each organ and going head to toe. And then I find the acupressure point to balance the meridian scan, and I look for a stressor in the body scan, and if there's any nutrition, or perhaps, and using finger modes, I might use is does the body want structural, nutritional, psychological, emotional, or electrical? Or perhaps it wants a metaphysical, or it wants Yuen technique, or it wants homeopathy, or wants a Hertz, or wants whatever it wants. So I'm always checking to see what the priority is and what system they want fixed first so that you do it in the order the body wants. The Yuen method that I use is an energy method beyond just regular metaphysical. It's a system of questions and answers where strengthen you strengthen someone so that they can heal themselves. So this is a holistic system in that I may be the vessel for what the healing starts, but the person's body, they're healing themselves. So it's not me, it's just coming through me.
That's amazing. Can you give an example if someone came to you with some kind of issue in their body and it was metaphysical, you might encounter what?
Well, if it's metaphysical, I use I might ask, is it in the body? Is it out of the body? Is it physical? Is it not physical? Is it body? If it's not physical, then is it body, mind, spirit? And if it's body, then it's gonna usually, sometimes it's something in the metaphysical realm, but often it's physical at that point. So is it a system, a structure? An organ, a tissue? Is it at the cellular level or the molecular level or the atom or quantum particle level, or is it in the empty spaces? So it could be at the empty spaces at the body level or at the very tiniest between atoms or between quantum particles. So you find out where it is. Is it how the speed is running? Is it agility? Is it strength? Or is it a system or a flow? Is it in the feng shui? Is it emotion stuck somewhere? So there's all different ways of finding what it is and then figuring out what's the best avenue of working on it.
So with the metaphysical, I guess I was wondering more about like paranormal type reasons.
Well, those are often spiritual. So spiritual, there might be energy sheet or an energy, there might be a block or there might be an amulet, or it might be a vow or a curse or an entity or a lifeline. So it could be any of those things, or it could be psychic. And for me, for psychic, it means more that a person. It's not something woo, 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 but it's more that it has to do with another person and there's energy between you two. So it's all those things that can be paranormal. And then you have to follow where they go. Again, how do you get rid of it so that you don't get hurt, so the other person doesn't get hurt, so it's not dangerous, and so that so it's safe, as well as what's the best way to do it. Could be light, it could be color, be sound, it could be hertz, it could be a magnet, it could be prayer, it could be a tuning fork. So there's multiple ways of finding out what works the best for your body.
I love that there are so many options.
I know sometimes I just have to go through my list and see, well, did I check this, and this? And then sometimes there are layers and you have to go back again and redo it.
Yeah, I've noticed that in some of our sessions that we end up seeing similar things more than once sometimes. Um, in your practice, is it common to have things like curses and entities and stuff like that? Is that normal?
Yes. Yes, it can be karmic. Sometimes the karma just lends itself to that. And so and I always check with guides or angels and different beings if it's okay to remove things or change it, because there may be something they have to learn from it, and that it's not my business to even interfere. So I'm always checking that, and and the karma can be tricky because a memory can loop you back into the same place that you were. And so you have to get rid of things in different times. So in past time, in present time, so it doesn't happen in future time. Because if you have a memory that chucks you back to where something happened, you get pulled into or sucked into that whole thing again. And we're not just talking about this lifetime, but for many lifetimes.
Mm. Yeah, that's so interesting. And it's interesting how past lives can even be bleeding into this life and have issues. Like one of the sessions you and I had, I don't even know how many months ago it was. You had told me that there was an etheric hole in my heart in the front and the back. And then I watched you start trying to figure out where it came from. And ended up being from my dad's father's father. And you said to me it could either be you or just related. And then when I went and asked my dad to tell me about his grandfather, how he passed away, I mean, I really could have peed my pants laughing. I was laughing so hard. Apparently, kicked the milk can under the cow as he's milking the cow, died of a heart attack, suddenly milking
Oh
the
my
cow.
gosh.
And my other psychic friend confirmed that that was me. And, like, you're never going to get that from a medical doctor.
No.
But, like, it's just amazing to me all the things that you can figure out through all the different techniques that you use. And then, you're able to prescribe supplements or guide people to what kind of things their body might want. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm a clinical nutritional consultant, and so I can prescribe different supplements. And the way that I use test kits that are homeopathic test kits to find out if there's a stressor on the body or an organ. And the stressor can be foods or chemicals or pathogens or metals, scars, or viruses, and that's man-made viruses as well. So you match what will help a stressor get rid of it, and that helps the body. And it is very individualized to the person. Like very seldom do I have any two people have the same requirements. I try to not put them on more than 4 different supplements at a time, but most of the time 1 or 2, but get them over whatever they have, because you want the body to be able to heal in a healthy state. So when the supplement is there, they can, the body is getting the needs it needs to get rid of the stressor on its own. So you want to keep it on that for about 120 days because that's how long a cell takes to regenerate all the cells in an organ or a body. So it's about 4 months. You want to keep them on that.
Wow. That's super interesting too. The 4 months, the 120 days. That's how long it takes to heal a cell.
Well, that's how long it takes for all the cells to get replaced. So most of the time, I mean, nerve cells are longer than that, but as a general rule, it's about 4 months. So if you have the body on the nutrition that works the best, then the cells can heal to their optimal level. So not just at the level of survival, but at an optimal level of the nutrition that they need. So that's why I have people, it seems like it makes an energetic um, appointment stay longer. So that's
Mm.
why I like to use the nutrition as well.
I love that. I mean, even the stuff that you've had me take has worked. It helped. Um, you also work with animals too, right? Can you share a
Oh,
little bit
yes.
about some of your animal experiences?
I do. I work with a lot of animals, many domestic ones, cats and dogs, and then I had a lady, one of my clients, had trouble getting a vet during the pandemic. So I started. She rescues farm animals. So I have horses and I had a pig, I had cows and a rabbit. I've had all kinds of animals. So yes, I have lots of animals too.
What would you say is the most interesting interaction you had with an animal?
Um, One of the first animals I had, there were a couple at the coast here in Oregon, and I went down to we go to the coast quite frequently, and so I went to the coast and I took this homeopathic medicine with me. This little dog had Lyme's disease, got bit by a tick, and they had had no success, and the dog was getting more and more sick, and so the I had never been to their place of business before, and I was dropping off the remedy. And this little dog knew me when I went in the building, and she was around the other side of the building. I had gone into the wrong side of the building because there were entrances on three sides of the building, and I went in the front, and the store was in the back. But the dog knew I was in the building because I could hear her barking, and she just kept barking and barking and barking until she got to me, and then she just started jumping up and down. So here I never met the dog, and here she was barking for me, and just came up friendly as can be the minute I walked in the door. And this is a tourist town, so there's a lot of people in there. So but it was just me she was barking at.
Wow. It's interesting, just the concept that working on an animal is not that much different from working on a human because it's the soul, right?
Yes, and soul is soul. So even with a different body system, or they still have meridians and they still have organs, and you can find out if it's emotionally caused, some diseases emotionally. Or they can even be, animals are so intuitive, they heal so quickly, lots faster than humans many times. And but they can be affected by their humans too, or treated so cruelly that they don't get over things either. So
Oh, so they end up with traumas just like we do?
they very much so. Yeah.
Wow. So did their traumas end up manifesting in their organs like us and can produce cancers for them?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Wow.
very much
So it's
so.
important to have your animal communicated with in
Yes.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, I love this topic. It's so interesting to me. One last topic that I wanted to ask you about or have you talk about is working with business owners and strengthening money, different kinds of blocks relating to your business or money. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So I can check and see if finances are a block to health, to weight, to relationship. Like, is it something that weighs you down, or you have to get, is there an order that has to happen for the financial piece to fit into place so that you're actually seeing a difference is in your finances? And so you can check to find out if there's one block, more than one block. You can find out what the earning level is now and what it can be, what they can go up to be. You can find out whether there's an emotional or is it a past life? Is it a present life thing? Is it something karmic or not? So you can go through, there's a whole menu of questions to go through. Are they strong for abundance and prosperity? And so that there's just a lot of things to check.
There's so many different categories of what you do and what you're able to look at and assess. It just really always blows my mind.
Sometimes it's amazing to me too. My friends say, "How do you ever remember that?" And I was like, "Well, I don't remember it all. I have checklists that I go through too."
Is there anything else that you wanted to share with the audience about who you are, what you do, or any final closing words for our time today?
I will say I do have some pain. I have people with pain. And so I always check at the beginning on a scale of 1 to 10 what their pain level is. And so by the end of the session, I either like to get it down to a 1 or 2 at the highest, maybe, and get it down to a 0 so that they're not in pain. And
I have personally experienced this every time that we have met. Not only the pain going from sometimes my pain is at 8 or 9 and it goes down to a 1 or 2, and all of a sudden my vision becomes so bright, everything looks sparkly and clear. I don't know if everybody experiences that when you're working on them, but I definitely have felt that one myself. Keep
great.
going.
I'm always amazed it works and I love it too. I love helping people. So it for me it's a way of giving back to the world.
I love that. That is the best way to even close. My new motto is bliss-filled service. Bliss-filled service. I don't know if it's a motto. I think it's just
So
reminding ourselves to get into that higher vibration and then share it.
yes, and that's why I do what I do. Thank you.
I just love what you do so much that I couldn't wait to show it to all of my friends, my clients, and the rest of the world. Thank you so, so much for coming on here and sharing with all of us the magical wonders of what you do. I'm blown away every time I meet with you. So I personally recommend to all of my friends, family, clients, anyone who has any kind of pain in your body, any issues that you can't figure out, come to our website, mystarseedfamily.com. And when you go to the services page, you can click Dr. Misty and see all of her listings right at the top. You can also read about Misty and all of her qualifications right there on the website. There's a whole page devoted to her. So much more to come between us, Misty. I'm just so excited for the work that we are planning to do.
Yes, me too.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Okay.